Hello and welcome. Great to be with you again. A trip to KwaZulu-Natal. We're racing on the poly track out at Hollywood Bets Greyville. We've got 8 races in store for you. I just want to call up the market for race 1. And the 5 was Benny in the Area is your 18 to 10 favourite. That's Richard Fourie for Gary Rich. Number 10, Magic Prince at 28 to 10. Mexican Pete. There's a bit of talk about Mexican Pete at 15 to 4. And it's 7 to 1 and better those. I've just got Daryl Marie with me. Daryl, does look to be an open race. We've heard the whispers around Mexican Pete. Frank Robertson had that All Sovereign State win a cracking race for Mr. Sid Moodley, I think is the owner's name. Lovely to see these Silks in the winner's box. Looks to have some lovely horses at the moment. Yeah, Mr. Sid Moodley, that's been confirmed. Mexican Pete, what have you heard?
Yeah, he's fancied. So let's see if there's any market support for him. Is there any anti-post movement for him, Brandon?
There has been a bit of support. We'll have to see if that money stabilizes. I know the early support is probably something that we shouldn't jump up and down about. Yeah. But Frank will give us the comments, Daryl.
Listen, if he's fancied, I think he could be the natural backup with the favourite Benny in the Area. I've taken my chances and banked at Benny in the Area in the opening leg of the bipot. I just looked at the horses drawn towards his inside, numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. They're all first-timers or 2, 3 and 4 are all first-timers. I don't think they'll have that gate speed he has out of the pens. So I'm expecting him to get there quite easily. If you have a look at his form, Brandon, over 1200 at Scottsville, it's his best form by far. By far. And that's a stiff 1200, right? Scottsville 1200 is probably the stiffest in the country. So I don't believe the 1400 on the poly track is going to be of any concern. So for me, I've banked him. Number 5, Benny in the Area.
Yeah, I think we just need to try and get some sort of feedback as to what they think of this horse, Mexican Pete. We saw that horse, Sovereign State, win a great race on Sunday afternoon, beating some very nice horses in the making. Let's put those selections up. Let's see what we're doing with race number 1. It is the first leg of the bipot. Daryl Marie suggested we banker number 5, Benny in the Area, by 1, 4 and 5, by 2, 5 and 6, by 4 and 6, by 2, 3 and 4, by 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9. 324 Rand the spend, and race 1 goes off at 25 past 12. Open race, race number 2, first leg of the place accumulator. The favourites, number 5, King Bavarian at 5 to 1 with number 8, Mr. Lincoln. And it's 11 to 2 and better those. I'm going to need Daryl Marie to help me over here. Daryl, is there anything that you like? I'd imagine you're probably going to include a good few horses when it comes to the first leg of the PA.
You have to, Brandon, because it's maiden handicap. And that always makes things a bit trickier. Usually I don't include the top weights, but I have here. Number 1, excuse me, Brandon. Number 1, his Master's Voice. If you watch his latest start, Brandon, he was over racing. He had the worst draw to contend with, and he was doing too much during the running of the race. So I like the fact that he's coming back in trip. Yoga's stable is doing extremely well. Robert's riding well. Let's hope he takes a seat from a 1 draw or gets the horse to settle, which is most important. And I think he can come out soft, and despite giving weight all round, I'll make him a play over here. Number 4, King of Seville, I expected more from him last time out because in his penultimate start he was unlucky. Should have finished closer on that occasion. Interesting to see his comeback as a gelding. So I think there is improvement to come from him. And number 5, King Bavarian. His later start is probably his best to date. He's held on the George Handel form, but what's interesting over here is they're trying him with a set of blinkers, and Muzi sticks with him. I don't know if Muzi had an option between him and Wild Style, but he has stuck with King Bavarian, and maybe he got off last time out and he said to Allison, let's try him with blinkers. He'll get a length or 2 out of him with those blinkers on. So 57.5 to shoulder. I think he's one for the shortlist. 1, 4 and 5 is what I've played over here, Brandon.
You've heard from Daryl Marie. Let's put up those selections. It is the first leg of the place accumulator. Daryl going 1, 4 and 5 in the first leg by 1, or rather 2, 5 and 6. So leg 2 is going 2, 5 and 6 by banker 4, by 3 and 4, by 1, 2 and 3, by 1, 7, 8 and 9, by banker 3 at the back. 216 Rand is the spend, and race 2 goes off at 1 o'clock. Let's go to race number 3. First leg of the pick 6. Favorites number 5, Queen Bomi, 22-10. Number 1, Shaken Not Stirred at 7-2 and 7-1 and better those. All right, let's go and ask Daryl what he likes in the first leg of the pick 6. Queen Bomi, 22-10. Obviously, we've said it time and time again. We don't want to sound like a stuck record, but poorly matched at the moment. Everything he steps out, you need to respect in a big way.
Wow. I actually find it amazing, Brandon? I mean, there's horses that I think are really going to battle. And I mean, what was that filly that won over the weekend? Law of Success or something?
Same Silks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Queen
I mean,
Bomi.
look how she won. Unbelievable. Anyway, we've seen Queen Bomi run on the poly track before, Brandon. She ran second. She's off the same mark over the same course and distance. So, yes, a natural inclusion. Rainwear. Here's a filly or a mare now that I actually thought returned with a promising effort. I mean, she was given a chance over the 1400. She was doing her best work late, and there's no doubt she was in need of that start. And at that stage, Tony's yard was very quiet. And then she put in a stinker, second run after rest. If you're willing to put a line through that, she was reported to be coughing. If you're willing to put a line through that effort, I think she's probably the leading light of the year. And then another stable that's in cracking form now recently is Wendy Whitehead and Calvin Habib. They've really teamed up and they're booting home the winners. Well, he's booting home the winners for the yard. She's got a neat draw and she's back on her favourable surface. And she always gives an honest account. So I do make this a tricky event. I think Rainwear, if she's at her best, I think she could be the one to beat, but I'm certainly not labelling her. So 2, 5 and 6. I hope we get through the first leg of the pick 6 because it is quite a costly perm.
Okay, so let's put those selections up. It is the first leg of the pick 6, as you heard from Daryl. So there's the selections. 2, 5 and 6 in the first leg, by 4 and 6, by 2, 3 and 4, by 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, by 1, 7, 8 and 9, 3, 6, 7 at the back, 1,296 rand the spend, and race 3 goes off at 13.35. Okay, so let's move along. Let's go to our next live race, and this will be race number 4. I see it's over 1,900 meters. Favorite at the moment has got number 6, Bayview Express at 16-10. Great to have Samanga Kumalo back in the irons. Number 4, Ricardo's at 9-2, and it's 5-1 and better those. All right, Daryl. Bayview Express. You were speaking about Yogas Govender, a man that certainly knows how to train them. Also a gentleman of the sport. He's got Bayview Express at 16-10. Is this worth a bet?
I've only got 2 horses over here, Brandon. Bayview Express and Ricardo. Now, Bayview Express is obviously in great form. Samanga knows him extremely well, and having run second in his last 2 starts on him, I'm sure Samanga's itching to get him into the winner's enclosure. But if you like his chances, you have to have a healthy respect for Ricardo. There's very little separating them on form. Obviously, Ricardo's penultimate start when running 4th to National Dream. National Dream won again, right? Afropolitan won from there. And there was one other, Brandon. Absolute Value came in 1 up on the Harveld for Fabian. Last time out on the turf track, he came out slow from a 1 draw, Ricardo, and they just swamped him and he never got into the hunt. So I'm going 4 from 6 over here, but it can go either way.
That's a very difficult race. It's Bayview Express, or you've got to include a good 3 or 4 horses. Even this was safe space must have a chance for Timothy Pretorius. Let's put up those selections. It is the first jackpot. It starts now in race number 4, and Daryl Marie's going to go 4 and 6 on the first leg, by 2, 3 and 4, by 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9, by 1, 7, 8 and 9 at the back. 144 rand the spend, and the race goes off at 10 past 2. Second jackpot starts in race number 5. The favorite as it stands. Remember, it is a pre-recorded show, so things can change. Favorites number 4, Mysterious Girl at 28 to 10. 3 to 1 about number 9, Pretty in Pearls. And it's 9 to 2 and better those. Let's go to Daryl and see if he can help us. Mysterious Girl, it's another one for Yogas Governor and Samanga Khumalo. We'll be hoping by now you would have known if Bayview Express is in the winner's box. Do you like this horse?
I do, Brandon. And if you watch her latest victory, you have to be super impressed with the manner in which she won. I mean, she tracked them going through the 400. Samanga asked her for an effort and she quickened on by. She really impressed on that occasion. And you can see it was actually her first start since start trying the extended trip. So she loved the step up in distance. She just meets number 3, You Deserve It, at worst weight terms. I think there's now 4.5 kilograms difference, which should bring them a lot closer together. And that race was run on turf. So let's see how she goes on the potty track over the 2000. I don't think there's going to be as much separating numbers 3 and 4 this time around. Brandon, number 2, Lady Cancer. Now here's a filly. I know she beat a very weak field last time out, but if you just watch that race, she's still doing things backwards. She's over racing, and the way she quickened last time out, she had the race, she put the race to bed 600 meters from home. So if she can just settle in running and show the turn of foot she showed last time out, I think she could be a factor. She has run on the poly track in the past, but it was over distances short of her best. So we haven't seen the best of her yet. She just needs to settle and learn how to race properly, and she's got more to come. So in order, I'm going 4, 3 and 2. Those are the 3 I've opted to go with over here, but it is a fillies as handicap. I wouldn't be surprised to see a result.
We've probably got to watch this horse, Pretty in Pearls, number 9 as well, who I thought was very unlucky last time out. That was a smashing run behind Quasi's Lady. Looked all over a winner going past the 100. Just found Quasi's Lady too good on the day. All right, let's put up those selections. You've heard from Daryl Marie. You know what he likes. It is the start of Jackpot 2. He's going 2, 3 and 4 in the first leg. By 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9. By 1, 7, 8 and 9. And at the back, 3, 6 and 7. 216 Rand the spend. If you are going to have a bet, race 5 goes off at 2:45. Let's go to race number 6. The favourites, number 1, Impartial at 33 to 10. Number 2, Don't Shoot the Barman, 33 to 10. Number 9, Trafalgar Squares at 4 to 1. And it's 5 to 1 and better those. 20 past 3 if you're looking to have a strike. This is a very tough race. I don't like the look of this race at all. Daryl, is there any value that you can find for us? I think it's one of those races, if you run it 6 times over, you're going to get a different result each time.
Absolutely, yeah, Brandon. The break is vital over here. I mean, even a horse like Sevilius, he's well held on paper, but he spoilt his chances at the start on that occasion. If he gets a clean break, I'm saying he has to be included in all bets. Number 1, Impartial. Now, we saw this combination team up with an amazing winner over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that race, Brandon, where Spare Tlengwa held on. It was such a congested finish. I think 6 or 7 runners flashed past the post within half a length.
What was the horse's name? Adabar.
Yes,
I think it was Adabar.
Yeah. Kitchikal was in that race.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's in cracking form. Course and distance suited. No weight to shoulder. Don't Shoot the Barman. His best form is over the course and distance. You got the likes of Another Day in Africa. Mallorca Palace has to come into contention. Now he's got a big weight swing in his favour. And then Trafalgar Square, I don't know if you recall his last start. He got taken up at a crucial stage. So I went several over here. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9.
Looks to be a field race. Let's go and put those selections up. Let's see what Daryl Marie likes in race number 6. It goes off at 20 past 3. It's over 1,000 meters. Daryl going 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 in the first leg of a pick 3. By 1, 7, 8 and 9. By 3, 6 and 7. 72 Rand. Try and take that a few times. Great race. There's lots of value to be had. The swingers, the quartets, the trifectas and the exactors are going to pay money. Let's go to the penultimate race. It is race number 7. The favourites, number 6, Poppy by You at 15-4. Number 2, Pour Some Sugar on Me, 4-1. The 8, Time for Glory at 4-1. And it's 11-2 and better. Those. Daryl, I wonder if you can give me some confidence. I like this was Time for Glory. I think we'll get a big run. I know the draw is somewhat a concern, but that's got to be some value, 4-1.
For the Mayor of Eye of Africa, Mr. Kevin Hunter, eh?
You good friends with Kevin?
Yeah, I was actually very pleased to see her improve last time out, Brandon, because in her penultimate start when Chase rode her, I mean, she came into the straights and she appeared to be very, very flat on that occasion. But she was reported to be coughing. Last time out, they travelled her. She set the record straight. Coming back in trip. You know, she's coming back to the 1200. Maybe that's going to suit her. Let's see how she goes. She certainly deserves another victory. I mean, she was graded placed as a juvenile. Hasn't quite gone on with it, but she does put in a really good run occasionally. I'm hoping she gets it right for Kevin. Certainly, I think this is her debut for MJ Ordendal, Brandon. You know, have a look at this filly's rating. She was as high as an 89. She's down to a 75. Also coming back in trip. Richard Free gets the ride. I'm really keen to see how she goes. And then I've just put in numbers 1 and 9 with them. So for me, 1, 7, 8, and 9. Tricky event. Let's hope Time for Glory can get it right.
Just chatting about this horse, Daryl, certainly. I see it did run for MJ last time over 1,400 metres.
Okay.
That was a very good run. Ran 4th behind Morgan Le Fay, was beaten 6 lengths, but Hugs and Half Halves came out to run 2nd from that form line. Perhaps a horse that's going to improve.
Well, Brandon, she's obviously held by Time for Glory. I mean, Time for Glory was in that race, but she's 1.5 kilos better off. They both come back in trip. So shouldn't be much separating the two of them.
Absolutely spot on. Let's go and put those selections up. Let's see what Daryl Marie's going to tell us to go and do in race number 7. It is the penultimate on this 8-race program. A tote double, 1, 7, 8 and 9 in the first leg by 3, 6 and 7. And you can take that for 12 Rand or however much you've got in your pocket at this stage. I know it's a tough meeting. Hopefully by now you've caught a few nice bets leading into race 7 and you can give that tote double a full go. The last race, I really like a horse over here. I see 2-1 at the moment. This horse, Black White Dynamite. Number 7, it's Richard Faree for Peter Muscat. Number 3, Mr. Master Starter, 33-10. Number 10, Proud Master, 5-1. And it's 7-1 and better. Those. Daryl, give me confidence because I want to have one bet at the meeting. I'm looking to go and strike one horse and it comes up in the last. I was very impressed with this horse, Black White Dynamite, last time out. Similar sort of run. I know up in class. Got to have a big chance.
Yeah, Brandon, same course and distance. Blinkers stay on. He obviously appreciated coming back in trip and being fitted with a set of blinkers because he had that race at his mercy, turning for home already. He was crawling all over them. Gavin switched him out and he had put the race to bed within a matter of 2 strides. The handicapper was very impressed too. He picked up a maximum 4 kg penalty. Just has to reproduce a similar effort and he should go very, very close to winning. But he's taking on a very nice horse on the poly track himself, and that's Mr. Master Starter. He's only had 2 efforts or 3 efforts on the 4 efforts for 3 wins, but he's unbeaten over the course and distance. 2 from 2 over the 1200. He's having his peak run, so I think he's going to be major danger to Black White Dynamite. And one other I've thrown in, Brandon. Vasim. I don't think he was suited by the 5 furlong on the poly track last time out. He's a better 6 furlong horse. Much stronger handling in the irons this time around. So, come down in the ratings nicely. Brandon, I think you can box this trifecta and exacta. Numbers 3, 6 and 7.
He's a gorgeous looking horse, Mr. Master Starter. I watched him closely move down to the gates last time out. I thought he was given a peach of a ride by Keegan DeMello on that occasion. But now that he's back on poly, good draw, probably the horse they all need to beat. I'm going to take my chances though. I'm going to go and back one horse on the meeting, and I'm going with Black White Dynamite. Let's put up the selections from Daryl Marie before we say goodbye. There we go, Exacta box 3, 6 and 7. It's going to cost you R6. You can take that a few times. The last race goes off at 4:30, and that's it from Weighted to Win on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll chat again for the Vaal tomorrow. From all of us here, be safe, love to the family, bye-bye.